thank you so much for joining me on another episode where we spotlight different businesses, their stories, their backstories, and just everything, all the lessons they learned on their journey. So I'm super excited to have our guest, Nick, with us today. Nick, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Of course. Well, Nick and I don't personally really know each other, but we did share a TEDx stage. He did it last year. I just did it recently. We both did Cherry Creek HS in Denver, Colorado, and he gave an amazing talk. And I was like, he has a very similar topic to me, talking a lot about social anxiety and how we can combat it with small little steps to lead to better conversations, better lives. So, Nick, I'm super excited and thrilled that you're here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this topic. It's a great topic.
Of course. Well, I would love for you to kind of start off and tell us just a little bit about your backstory, a little bit about your story, and kind of what have you been up to?
Okay, well, I started off, introverted, shy, socially awkward as a kid, and those are three separate things, but those were, all very present in my life, and I wanted to be be able to be more normal, because
Hmm.
I would see people living their lives, and it seemed like they had all these opportunities, and I was missing out on these opportunities because I couldn't interact with other people, and I
Hmm.
felt like uh, I always say an alien that didn't pay attention in their how to be a human class, and then but was sent anyway, and then trying to figure it out. So that was a big struggle. And then, so all the materials out there, nothing was working for me because, they'd say stuff like, oh, just go up and start talking to people. Or it's like, I can't do that. Or it would have something like they would talk about scientists say that when a rat does this to another rat, this part of the brain lights up. And I'm like, how is that supposed to help me socialize? So I was the guinea pig, the lab rat, and I would personally go out and observe because I think a superpower of introverts is observation. So I'd observe what other people are doing, find things that not only I could do, but I would do, and kind of just break everything down into simple steps. And then I started doing that, and it changed everything. And then people started asking me that had been around and seen the transformation. How do you do this? And then so I would tell them, and then I started speaking about it. And then one time I was in Barcelona, Spain, giving a speech about networking for introverts, and then someone said, "Where can I get your book?" I didn't have a book, so then I wrote a book, An Introvert's doing the blur thing, An Introvert's Guide to World Domination, and I wrote that book, and it was well received, and yeah, that's pretty much. So I'm still out speaking about how to socialize with people, and I'm going out there myself, so it's not just one of those things where I just did it once and then I stopped. I'm constantly out there trying to get into new weird situations so that I can help other people overcome those situations.
Well, that's awesome. And one thing I want to highlight that I find so true is that we have a really good skill for observation. And it wasn't even something I realized was super big until my dad doesn't have that same level of, perceptiveness, or I always call it nosiness personally, because I always feel like I'm just a little bit nosy, but I'm like, hey, did you notice like she had this and like she was wearing this, which reminds me of this? And my dad's like, what? How did you know that? I'm like, I just looking around
Oh,
and I could tell. So I think that's a really it's one of those skills I think some of us take for granted in that sense. Like it's not as big of a deal, but like you mentioned, it's super helpful when we're having conversations, when we're able to pay attention, we're able to be present, and we're able to pick up on some things that maybe others wouldn't. It just makes the other person feel so much more at ease, more comfortable. Um,
yes.
but so you've been speaking on this topic for quite a while. I would love to hear kind of your journey on, when did you know you wanted to do a TEDx and then going from there to applying for maybe Cherry Creek HS specifically, and then of course getting it, doing it, and all those things.
Okay, well, to just deciding that I wanted to do it, I said, well, it's a really good platform to get the message out. And I thought that, well, if I were to do it, then it would bring a lot more awareness to the topic and to me.
Mhm.
And so then maybe I could leverage that to get more speaking engagements, or, if I am somewhere talking about this, then that gives a little bit more social proof or credibility to what I'm talking about. And so that's when I initially decided I wanted to do it. And then, the Cherry Creek HS TEDx platform, it's up the street from me. So, very convenient. And so I said, okay, well, this one is, it's not like I don't have to travel to India or something, or Alaska or South Africa, to do it. It's very convenient. So let's give that a try. And also, just being part of the community, that seemed very helpful. And then what was the other question? Was it
Well, how was it, finally giving the talk?
okay? Giving the talk was, oh, it was great. It was great to do it because, seeing first the preparation process with the other speakers, seeing what they were doing and us kind of helping each other out, and then actually going out there. I was really excited to do it because, just like your topic and my topic share the same sort of spirit, which,
Mhm.
so mine being the anxiety, I'm like, well, if this is real, what I'm talking about, then I should be able to go and do this without completely collapsing into a little puddle of mush on the stage. And I felt really good that it went very smoothly. I felt pretty confident about it. And then when it was complete, it did um, it did help with getting extra attention on the topic, and for me to be able to get invited to do a lot of other things around that. So it was
Yeah.
definitely worth it.
That's awesome to hear, and it's so cool, and it's the nerves on the day of are so real, where you're just, like, not sure what's going on. I think for me, that was a very, like, unreal kind of experience preparing for it. I've obviously given talks before, I've given speeches before, and I had it all memorized and everything, but I was just sharing with one of the other, girls that I shared the stage with. I was like, the day of, there's this I was giving just a rehearsal the first 30 seconds, and I forgot one of my words, and this had never happened to me before. Like every time I practiced speech, I never had a problem on that word
Right.
until I was on that stage, and I was like, "What word was that again? I don't remember." And then, like every time I looked at the script, and then I looked away, I forgot the word again. I was like,
Right.
"This is crazy." It's one of those things where you just can't explain it. But I don't know if I personally shared this with you, but the story of how I found your talk is really funny. I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, and I was like, my dad was like, "Oh, she's gonna give a TEDx talk soon." He's like, "Wow, that's so cool." He's like, "I've actually interviewed a TEDx speaker on my podcast." And we're like, "Oh, who is it?" He's like, "Yeah, his name is Nick Shelton." And obviously, I'm a very nosy person. So as we're now still having this Zoom conversation, I start Googling you. And I look up your talk and I find out that the stage that you gave it is the one I was going to give it on. So it's really funny how the universe kind of puts everything into place. And then I watched your talk and I'm like, you're giving such a similar topic as well. So much synergy there. It was really, really great to hear yours. And then I reached out and you gave some really great advice before I gave my talk. So I super appreciate that. So you talked a little bit about some of the experiences you've had since TEDx. So I'd love to hear kind of, it's been almost a year, I want to say, or a little bit over a year since you
Yes.
gave your talk. How was it kind of life post TEDx for that?
Okay. Yeah, it's been pretty good because, yeah, that opens a lot of doors. And it's really interesting, the perception, and I'm sure you'll feel this too, is so before I had done it, I was like, when I had met other people that had done the TEDx talks, it's like, what, how did you do that? And then once you have done one, you're like, okay, all right. It makes it, then when you see other things, you realize, oh, if I did this, I can do that. And so it helped me, you know, view the world as everything's within my reach.
Hmm.
And then yeah, it's I've gotten a lot more interviews because of it, because people say, well, let's invite this guy on. He has this. So it's a really good promotional piece to share to help get other things just uh lends to that credibility once again on the message. And so I would say that has really helped out and getting the word out and helping people that could use a little help, whether they're shy, socially awkward, or introverted, or uh, neurodivergent. Uh, there's a lot of people out there that
Hmm.
need this help,
Hmm.
and just being one of shining that spotlight, getting that
Right.
spotlight on you, it helps them be able to find you a little bit better so you can provide that help. And uh, you know, every time I feel that I've reached the end, there's something new that pops up where I say, "Oh, okay." And so you find new ways to help people, because people will come up with situations. They say, "Well, what would you do in this situation?" I'm like, oh, I have not thought about that. So for me personally, I'll try to put myself in that situation and then see how I can work my way out of it. So then I can
Hmm.
explain to somebody, instead of just guessing, I say, let me get in it. Let me get in that awkward situation and figure it out. So yeah, I think that post TEDx it's been really great. So the TEDx experience, phenomenal. And then afterwards has been even better because, oh, also, I think that I had said in that TEDx wrap talk, when you keep in touch with the other people that were that you shared the stage with, that is very valuable, because it's like a little family and everyone helps each other out. And that has been really great. I'm still in touch with several people that I shared the TEDx stage with. And yeah, it's great to see everybody grow and see what we're all getting out of the experience.
Yeah, I just interviewed someone that I just shared the TEDx stage with, and it was great to talk to him. Obviously, all the talk was very recent for us versus you guys, but it's such a unique experience, and I think something that if you're not a TEDx speaker, you wouldn't know, but every stage is different. Every curator is different. Everyone runs their events differently, right? So even though we all share TEDx experiences, maybe that year or that stage or that person who organized it did it a little differently than some other TEDx talks and other TEDx speakers. So I think that's really important to keep that connection with the people you share the stage with, because you guys just share this experience that is almost like hard to describe, I think, to other people. The only people who really get it to that extent are those people who you shared the stage with, who you talked to that day, who you were prepping with that day, you rehearsed with that day. And then you guys all celebrated together that day as well. So
Right.
I think that's a really great thing for you to highlight, of course.
Absolutely. And I think for your listeners who are interested in trying to do a TEDx, I would say to them, yeah, absolutely apply, either to the one that we did, TEDx Cherry Creek HS, or it can be anyone, just apply, just put it out there. It doesn't hurt to put those applications out. And then anyone who is struggling with their social anxiety, they can reach out to you, they can reach out to me, and yeah, I'm sure that
Definitely.
yeah, we can definitely help them.
Yeah. One thing I do want to highlight is a lot of people have asked me, like a lot of just my friends and family, people who maybe aren't in this world of like, and I say this world in the sense of like they're really actively pursuing a TEDx, is the number one question I get is, how do you even get on a TEDx stage? And like you mentioned, go out there, apply. You can Google, and like I think they're all on the TEDx website and stuff like that. So you can go find it. Would definitely recommend, and I know Cherry Creek HS is planning to do one next year. It's 2024 as of right now, so 2025 they're planning to do another event. It's a great organizer. I've gotten really close with all the people behind the scenes, and just as well that it's a great team to work with. So definitely apply to them if you'd like. And I think I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but I'll definitely have Nick's talk linked in the description. Go check it out. I think all both of our talks are pretty short. Like
Yes.
we're both under 10 minutes.
Yes.
So it's one of those few minutes you just get a punch load of information and inspiration. So go check it out. Check out all of Nick's links in the description as well. Reach out, go read his book, which the title just sounds amazing. So, Nick, thank you again for coming on and sharing a few minutes of your time and your story. It's really incredible. I really appreciated it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Of course. And to everyone watching, I appreciate you as well. And I will see you next time.